All right, what's going on, brothers? Hopefully everything's going good. Hopefully everything's going well for you guys. All right, brothers. I want to focus on black fathers. I think I'm gonna start doing some videos, or at least try to do videos focusing on giving saluting black fathers, so-called black fathers. Ones that are known. But I'm gonna start off with Joe Jackson, being that Michael Jackson is somewhat is trending again. Well, I wouldn't say trending. He's Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, but due to the movie, I went to go see the movie. By the way, it's a pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. Wasn't bad at all. Wasn't bad at all, man. I give it the old Cisco and Eva two thumbs up, man. Which I think they have since passed. Man, time flies. But anyway, uh, I want to salute Joe Jackson, brothers. I know, Joe probably done some things that was that wasn't good. From what they, from what Michael and them, what Michael has said that I've seen. I'm not sure about the others, kids. Not saying they haven't, but anyway, uh, believe it or not, brothers, Joe Jackson is a representation of many so-called black men throughout America right now. Many. Now, I'm not saying they are as doing things that Joe did, but I'm just saying, but Joe Jackson, brother, is just a reflection. Like I said, he's just a reflection of one of many. He is. I'll pick my great grandfather, who was be a precursor to Joe Jackson, but he didn't do the things that Joe Jackson did. And I just want to say this too. My great grandfather, brothers, he died in 1987. My great grandfather. Uh, and what's crazy, brothers, my family still talk about this man to this day with high regards. Still talk about him to this day with high regards. May God rest his soul. But anyway, brothers, this is about Joe Jackson. But I'm just saying he'll be a precursor to Joe Jackson. He was very stern too, a disciplinary, very wise too, very wise man. You know, he's very wise man. To sum him up, this is something I would say for a lot of you brothers, man. To keep it simple, try to be firm but fair. Firm but fair. You know what I'm saying? Reward good behavior. Punish bad behavior. Try to be firm but fair. You know what I mean? So, you know. But anyway, brothers, Joe Jackson, uh, the Jackson family owes this man a lot. If it weren't for Joe, they wouldn't have what they have. They would not have what they have today. No doubt. No question. No question. If Joe didn't have the vision, Michael and them would probably just be chances are, they would just have kids and they probably would have left Gary because a lot of people have left Gary. Latoya and all them probably didn't have kids and, got married or had kids or whatever. Probably moved to Atlanta, Indianapolis, all over the country. You know what I mean? All their kids would have. Because a lot of people left Gary, You understand what I'm saying? So if it wasn't for Joe, they wouldn't have what they have. So a lot should be given to a lot. He should get saluted. Yeah, he had his faults. According to them, he had his faults. But when I think about some of the stuff that I heard that Joe did, I'm like, okay, I can understand that. But Joe's he ain't the worst. He ain't the worst. I didn't seen worse. I didn't seen worse fathers and mothers than Joe. You know what I mean? You understand? If you want to label Joe a bad father, right, which I would say not, but But anyway, brothers. But like I say, because of him, they have what they have, brothers. Yeah, Joe probably could have done some things different or better or whatever the case may be. But there's nothing we can do about that, brothers. What we can do is learn from that and make sure we don't make the same mistakes. Like Michael and them, you know, which I don't think they did. I think they probably learned from that, and I don't think they made the same mistakes that Joe did. You understand? And that's all we can do, brothers. But I'm here to salute him. I think he did a good job, man. The man had his faults, he had his ways. I'm pretty sure, but I think he did a good job. Look at his kids, look at his offspring, and look what his grandkids are doing. You know what I mean? And I think I think he even have great grandkids now. I think, of course, he has since passed. May God rest his soul. Him, Michael, and Tito. May God rest their souls. But yeah, man, I think he did a great job, man. Salute to him. And like I can tell you, but he's a representation of many. He is, and they're still around to this day. Yeah, they are. There's still some Joe Jacksons out there to this day, man. And I'm not talking about the bad part of, I'm just talking about disciplinaries, firm. They might not be as many as it once was, but they're still out there. They're still out there, man. So, but that's all I want to say, brothers. For you, any of you brothers who are in your kids' lives, you know, don't provoke them to anger, brothers. I tell brothers, just keep it simple, keep it firm, be firm but fair. Set rules, structure. They break those rules, they pay the price. They do good, you reward. You understand? And teach. Keep it simple. And if you ain't got nothing to teach them, just keep it firm but fair, man. Which I think most of y'all have something to teach your kids. But just be firm but fair with your kids, brothers. Be firm but fair. You know what I mean? Basically set boundaries. They do good things, you reward them. You encourage them to do good things. You understand what I'm saying? And teach them things. You know, they'll thank you for it later. Trust me, they will. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, brother, I'll put my father in the Joe Jackson. My father, my great grandfather, Joe Jackson, and many others. My uncles. I'll put all those guys in the same category. You know what I mean? And my, they didn't do nothing of what I heard Joe did, but I'll still put them in that same category. You understand what I'm saying? So, but anyway, brothers, that's it. Like I say, salute to him. May God rest his soul. And yeah, brothers, be firm and fair with your kids, brothers. And a lot of you guys are in your kids' lives, and some of you guys are fighting to be in your kids' lives, or doing the best you can. And I know you got a lot fighting against you. Some of you guys are trying to discipline your kids. You got a lot going against you. I understand, brothers. But I salute all you brothers who are in your kids' lives and doing the best that you can, man. Doing the best that you can. You understand? So, salute to Joe and the many brothers like him. Yeah, brothers, that's it, man. May God rest your soul, brothers. I'm out. Peace.